Have you ever tasted a color? Have you ever bitten into a piece of food and suddenly you see colors or you see patterns? Have you ever listened to a piece of music and suddenly your screen is filled with color, filled with patterns? If you have, you've experienced synesthesia, and that's the focus of the current exhibition at the Albuquerque Museum of Art and History. Synesthesia is a condition that 1 in 23 people have, and they experience one sensory perception through multiple senses. A lot of the artists in this current exhibition, called sensory crossovers, synesthesia in American art, experience that sort of visual sensory connection. Sensory crossovers, it's a fantastic idea, really complicated, but also very accessible. And we hope you'll come to the museum to visit. Ira Jean Belmont created this painting inspired by the prelude to Richard Wagner's opera Lohengrin. If we want, we can see images here. We can use our imagination, just like when we're looking at the clouds. We can see a horse, or we can see a battlefield or a mountain range. However, for Ira Jean Belmont, very specific moments of the music inspired very specific colors and patterns and all of these soft tonalities that meld from one color to another, from dark to light. This is Charles Burchfield's watercolor called The Moth and the Thunderclap. Clearly you can see the moth clinging to some strange plant-like form in the bottom center of the painting. What's less evident is just how abstractly he represented the thunderclap, that loud noise that seems to vibrate and pulse through the top of the painting, almost in an arch, dropping little driblets of sound down onto the ground. It's a very large watercolor. Most watercolors are more sort of tablet-sized, but Charles Burchfield worked very large. This is almost 3 feet wide. But here you can see how Burchfield stylizes nature. Those aren't real plants. The moth is probably the most real thing in the painting. Santa Fe-based artist Greg Stevens created this piece, The Light Falls, in response to his feelings about waterfalls. He was trying to do with light what water does when exposed to gravity. This large piece is 8 feet tall and 4 feet wide, much larger than most of our usual images of this type. Some people liken it to a screensaver, but it's much more complicated than that, because all of this is based on 2 polished steel rotating drums and the way that light reflects off of those drums through prisms and onto the screen. So it never repeats itself. It's always something new and fresh. You get this sense of perspective, as if the light is coming towards you, as if it's moving from a small top and getting closer and closer to you. The other side of the light falls, the light moves in the opposite direction. So it starts at the bottom and rises up the huge panel and sort of disappears off into the distance at the top. Of the 4 paintings by Georgia O'Keeffe in the Synesthesia exhibition, Cow is by far the weirdest. This painting shows the obsessed eye of the cow as her tongue curls up to reach the low-hanging fruit in the tree above. Come to see Synesthesia, the exhibition at the Albuquerque Museum of Art and History, and you'll see a number of fascinating paintings, works of art that allow us to enter a different world and sense senses in an entirely new way. This exhibition will remain on view through January 2nd.